550 startups have closed shop this year. That's more than the 467 for all of last year. Startup world, and it's undergoing a sea change at the moment. Funding has come down.
Company. It was once valued at about $47 billion, and today is worth maybe 50 million. So this is a company that just really never had a business model that met the overhyped expectations that were placed on it. So I think today we're going to see in the next couple of years.
And really, they're hit by interest rates because one, valuations come down because the current value of their future cash flows, that's worth less when rates are higher. And at the same time, their borrowing costs are increasing. So that is really a double whammy to this part of tech. And that's leading to more startups shutting down. It could get worse before it gets better because of those interest rate dynamics.
Over 305 million startups are created every year around the globe, and the majority of them don't last long. In fact, up to 90% of startups fail across almost all industries. The average failure rate for year one is 10%. However, in years 2 through 5, a staggering 70% of new businesses will fail, and reasons for failure include money running out, being in the wrong market, a lack of research, no product market fit, bad partnerships, ineffective marketing, and not being an expert in the industry. When we look at the failure of Theranos, this was a startup that was going to change the world back in 2014. Theranos was making a blood testing device that could test you for any disease you can imagine, from only a small drop of blood. But there was a problem. The product really didn't work. Sure, there was a device, the Edison, but it could never do what they claimed it could do. Actually, it never really worked. So a startup is, in essence, a business experiment with potential. This means that real startups are prone to failure by definition. They are testing assumptions, and it's very likely these assumptions are wrong. The more innovative the startup, the riskier the assumptions, and the more likely it is to fail. If you're doing anything remotely innovative, you need to accept that you are likely to be wrong. The world is very complex, and most ideas and the assumptions they carry turn out to be bad. When you put this new kind of risk on top of the traditional risks of starting a business, it's no surprise why most startups fail. Most of these startups fail at an early stage of the project, and most of them have a higher risk of failure in the early stages because most of the startups are funded by the founders, their families, and friends, so it becomes hard to raise enough capital to get the business up and running. Many early-stage startup projects don't even register a legal entity. You don't need one to test an idea. You need one once you start making money. So let's look at the reasons why 90% of startups fail. But before we do, please subscribe if you find this video informative, and please hit that notification bell so you will be notified when we drop another video. Marketing mistakes are the biggest killers, and the biggest problem by far is lack of product market fit. A study by CB Insights found that 56% of startups fail because of a lack of product market fit. Startups need to identify a problem worth solving and then develop a solution that meets the market's needs. To find PMF, startups should engage in market research, customer discovery, and regular product iteration. But you must be willing to pivot if your initial product or service doesn't resonate with their target audience. Don't invest a lot of time and resources before you are confident people want what you are offering. Timing the market is a matter of luck. In many cases, the essential problem is that founders prioritize the what before the why. Instead of seeing a problem in the market and creating a product to solve it, a founder creates a product first, then works backward to come up with a problem it solves. In many cases, the problem doesn't exist, and the founder is stuck with a product with limited real-world demand. Validate your assumptions quickly and cheaply, and if needed, pivot. And another thing is that most startups fail due to a lack of a clear business model. Having a well-defined business model is crucial for startups to generate revenue and achieve sustainable growth. Entrepreneurs should invest time in understanding their target market, pricing strategies, sales channels, and key performance indicators to develop a robust business model. Many startups focus on building the perfect product but neglect marketing and sales efforts. A startup genome report found that 14% of startups fail due to poor marketing. Startups should allocate a significant portion of their resources to marketing and sales to attract customers and generate revenue. Effective marketing strategies, such as content marketing, social media, and email campaigns, can help startups reach their target audience and boost sales. Running out of cash is the second most common reason for startup failure, affecting 29% of failed startups. More than 50% of startups didn't have a budget for their project, and 75% were self-funded, yet only 16% pointed to financial problems as the reason for failure. That's because you don't really need a lot of money to test and validate concepts. You need effort. You need money to grow an already validated concept. So financial problems plague mostly exclusively later-stage startups. Startups need to understand the importance of cash flow, as insufficient funds can lead to failure. The struggle to secure necessary funds can spell the end for even the most promising companies. A failure to accurately forecast your financial requirements can quickly erode cash reserves and leave a startup on the brink of insolvency. Underestimating expenses, failing to create an adequate emergency reserve, bad investments, and overestimating revenue are all common factors that can lead to believing you have more runway than you do. Many startup founders spend more than they need to because they want to make their company seem successful and keep up with investor pressure to grow quickly. Expensive offices, over-the-top employee perks, rapid acquisition of employees, and growth costs that outpace revenue are all spending traps founders need to watch out for. A strong team is essential for any startup success. Nearly 25% of startups fail because they lack the right team. Startups should prioritize hiring talented individuals with diverse skill sets and experience. Weak management teams make mistakes in multiple areas. They are often weak on strategy, building a product that no one wants to buy as they fail to do enough work to validate the ideas before and during development. This can carry through to poorly thought-through go-to-market strategies. Problems like lack of domain knowledge, lack of marketing knowledge and plan, lack of technical knowledge, and finally, lack of business knowledge are the biggest killers. Friction within co-founders, the team, lack of motivation, and lack of availability are also common but less deadly. At the end of 2019, statistics showed that 82% of startups failed because of bad management and leadership inexperience. Most startups open for trade with the founder or founders, and possibly one or two employees. It's all manageable and focuses on sales and bringing in revenue. But as the business scales, and that can happen quite quickly in some instances, things start to fall off the edge and stress builds. Without well-developed management skills, daily pressures can soon lead to bad choices, shaky systems, and reactive decisions. If cash flow is steady, startups can go on a hiring drive without thinking long-term. Short of experience in hiring the right person for the job, founders can start approaching previous colleagues, friends, and even family. Because of past relationships, they can also appoint these people to roles that hold a high level of responsibility, which usually has disastrous consequences for everyone. Choosing senior employees and even a co-founder based on personal relationships is, for the most part, a bad idea. Startups are undoubtedly very risky, but great potential comes with great risk. Potential not only for financial returns, but for progress and innovation that could improve the quality of life of people all around the world. So don't let the risk of failure discourage you. Be audacious.